Now, let's talk about location lines. So this is the next step. We've created the wall. It works. It's great. Now I need to model it in 3D space. And I need to model in such a way that if I ever need to change something about that wall, it's not going to mess up my project, okay? And which makes just more work to do. So I would delete this, all right? And I would create 4 grid lines. And for the purpose of this exercise, let's pretend that these 4 grid lines are the outside of a concrete slab for your building. So very simple kind of concrete extrusion, a box extrusion, a rectangular extrusion, my goodness, it's getting late. So the shortcut should be GR for grid. Oh, there you go. So I would create one like this, and then I can copy this one. If you're new to Revit, you would see that it already named it number 2 right away. I can select it CS to create another one, but now I don't want this to be 3. I want this to be capital A. And if I copy it again, it'll be capital B. Fantastic. And let me just put some normal dimensions here. So let's say I want this to be, I don't know, 9 meters away, and I want this to be 6 meters away. You know, parking for, no, what was it? Form follows parking. This is it. All right, I want to make sure that I want to put these 2 on top of each other. Okay, so we're pretending that this is actually a concrete slab. And in a concrete slab, and you know what? Instead of pretending, let's actually draw it right here. So if I go floors, architectural, boom, rectangle, whoop, and I see, okay, fantastic. So now it actually exists in 3D. Well, we don't see it here. Remove this section box. Here it is. This is my slab, okay? And so the thing is that in a concrete building, what you're looking to do, by the way, I just hit TL. What you're looking to do is to align. So this is the outside here of the wall on the right, and this on the left is the inside. In a concrete building, in general, that is, what you're trying to do is you want to make sure that you align the edge of your slab with the outside of your wall, well, with the outside of the gypsum board, right? So that you can actually have a continuous surface from the columns to the slab edge to the gypsum board, so you can have one continuous surface to put your insulation on. So this is kind of like the whole logic. But you would see that when I select my wall, my little handle here, which also indicates where the wall was drawn, right? So if I do CS or WA, you would see that it's actually not exactly where I need it to be, all right? And this is because while I'm drawing, WA again, the location line is the wall center line, okay? So that means that if I draw my wall here, okay, I have it, but you know what? I'm actually just going to create a section box again. You would see that, you know what? I really don't want to see the grid lines here, so I'm just gonna, hello, okay. You see that it's actually not aligned with where I needed it to be. Actually, what I need is that the gypsum board and the edge slab are at the same place. So is there another way that upon drawing that wall, I can actually set up this right away? Absolutely. So WA to get into the wall command, and I'll hit the drop down menu here. So you can see that you can either align it with a core center line, the finish face of the exterior or the interior, depending on what your constraints are, or with the core face of the interior and exterior. So what I need to do in this case is actually align it with the exterior, because keep in mind when we created our wall, if I'll go to edit type, here, I had my core boundary towards the exterior, and the outside is right after this exterior grade gypsum board, blah, blah, blah. So if I select it, I'll do WA or CS to create similar, and I would select core face exterior, and then draw my rectangle. And now you can see that it fits exactly where I needed it to be, okay? And even if I go as far as to, let's say, join this geometry, because this is also something you can do in Revit, you can join stuff. If I join this geometry, you would see that it would cut right through it. Remember when I told you that Revit is a way to hyper-categorize things? Well, it's also to create hierarchies of importance with in between elements. The floor is always more important than the wall. So this is why the structure of the floor, which by the way, the sandwich of the floor behaves in the exact same manner that the wall would behave, would take kind of dominance over the wall, and the wall would give way when they do the when you do the joining of the geometry, my goodness. And one of the reasons why this is important right now is because let's say I made a mistake and these 6-inch studs are actually too much. I don't need it. All my insulation is on the outside. I don't have that big of windows. Forget it. 4 inches is more than enough. So if I go and if I select my wall, let's say I select this one, and if I edit the type and I come here and if I say, hey, look, I don't need 152, I need 102 millimeter studs. So, and if I hit OK, I want you to look what's going to happen here. This wall would reduce in size, but that location line would not move, okay? So if I say OK, and then, okay, let's do apply, click, it became smaller. So by choosing the proper way or the proper location line, you can actually model your entire Revit model with the ability that at some point you might need to change the walls or the wall thickness and they will stay exactly where they're supposed to stay, okay? So your alignments would be great. Let's say if you have a concrete wall, which is doing your cross bracing, and you want to make sure that you align with the edge of it, well, then you will choose the align finish face, exterior or interior, depending on what it is. But so this was it for location lines.